let us spend some time on this FND languages. If you click on FND languages, you will see that it will tell you what is the base language, and if you have installed country specific languages or additional languages like French, Hindi, any European language, Spanish, it will show up here. As an apps DBA, this is something you need to always check. And first let us see what happened, where this data is coming from. It is simple to find out where the languages are coming out by going to fnd_languages. Now, how do we use this? This is kind of critical. Let's spend some minutes on this. If you are in DBA and apps DBA, when you're doing a patching, you have to be careful what language patch you are installing. If you have MLS, NLS enabled in the database and you have multi-language support, you have the ALF UTF-8 or ALF UTF, I think 16, I don't know the exact name, or they call it multi-byte character set enabled, and you have installed multi-languages. How do you install multi-languages? There's a separate CD which comes initially, and for each forms and reports there will be a directory which is specific to language. When you do a basic installation, it is, as you can see, US American language. All the translations, all the localizations, all the labels in the forms, all the data, actual data, it can be all country specific or it can be general English, which is US American English. So by default, when you install, all the directories, subdirectories, all the form coding, encryption, and the byte code is specific to American language. So when you're doing a fresh installation, you need to ask your business users if you are going to install in future or multiple languages, or you want to enable multiple languages in the future. They may start with the English today, but in future or down the line, after say 6-7 months or 1 year or few years, they want to add French and Spanish, then Hindi and Mandarin, and all these different languages. So as an apps DBA, when you're installing it, if you go and see the installation videos for Oracle E-Business Suite we have in our training modules, you will see that there's a section which talks about what kind of character set you need in the database. First thing, so you will define the character set. It can be UTF-8, or nowadays they have ALF, I think UTF-16 or something they call, starting with the ATL, ALF, sorry. So this is, I think, much better than UTF-8. I think it is a bigger byte character set. I don't recall top of my head right now. So you will use basically this is multi-byte character set, okay, which basically means you can store very complex Chinese, Korean and other characters like Hindi and other things too, because they need more than 1 byte, more than 2 bytes sometimes, right, to store the value. So that you have to do it during installation, otherwise you have to do a lot of work later on. So very, very critical. Even if you have no character set installed, installation possibilities in the future, you should at least go to UTF-8, even if they don't see anything coming in the future. If they know for sure, use the latest. Alright, this you will see in the drop down menu when you're doing the installation. So that is the first part. Second thing is, if they are enabling the language, there will be a separate CD coming from Oracle for I think it's NLS multi-language support CD. So if you install French, you will have forms for French, you will have reports for French, and under each product top you will have US English, and then you'll have French, and you have different folders, German, right? And each of these folders will have these language specific forms and reports, because all the text, the labels, will be in this language specific to this. And as a DBA, when you do the patch, you have to patch, let's say you're applying a patch, whatever this number, right, for US English. You have to make sure that you apply the patch for all the enabled languages in all your application tier. So this is where you have to come and look into installed languages. And then when you're doing a patch for English, if you have other languages here, you are maybe talking to American customer and they want to apply this patch, but you know there are various languages. So to keep everything in sync, you have to apply this patch for all the languages. This is the reason why we have this SQL we need to run before we apply the patch, or when we are new in the environment. Last thing is, just because you enable NLS MLS doesn't mean the current data will be converted from English to different language. This is critical to understand. When people say we want to have ability to start entering French and Hindi data, that is for the future data, not the existing data. Just by enabling any specific character set or doing a conversion by using alter database, and there's a command for that to change the character set, right? If you are enabled in the database to accept these character set, you can enable you can enable multi-language support for the database. By virtue of doing all these steps, it doesn't mean when somebody is entering data in English and somebody in, say, in France is opening up the French form, the data will show up in French. No, data will be still showing up in English. The labels on the left side will be in French. So data comes out in the same format it gets in. Very critical. So if the French guys are entering data, they have to enter using French keyboard data into French language, and it will go and get stored in the Oracle. And when they query their data, then it will show up in French. So these forms and reports are allowing you for the translation on the text, not on the data. But you have to keep everything patched up in sync. And that is the reason we have to look into this FND languages table to see what languages do you have. So what goes in comes out. And I think that's enough for now for this. So when you're doing a patch, be careful and watch this view and see what languages are installed, and make sure you cover all the languages when you're doing English patch. Thank you.